Three, two, one. And welcome back from the break, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for rejoining Mike and Tim on today's episode of Right Spokane Perspective.
Just because I'm not a veteran doesn't mean you can spend the break laughing at the civilian. Look at that civilian over there.
No.
But I see the military guys, and I've heard the discussions of the Navy guys giving the Marines a hard time about, hey, you couldn't even get to your mission if you didn't float on our boats. So you hear about that, and the hoorah, and what's the hoorah is the Marines, and what's the Army one?
Hooah or hooah.
Yeah.
Hooah, and what's the other branches? Like say the Navy. What do they say?
Never again volunteer yourself, I think's what they say.
That's what Navy stands for.
Yeah, I don't know what they say.
Okay, so there's the inter-military harassment that goes on, and so that's a lot of fun. But we're going to see what happens because right now, of course, we've got this transgender sexual revolution going on in the military, and of course, a lot of Americans are wondering how this is going to work and how's the VA going to. We have problems already in the services with mental health and getting the physical health care. And so with this whole transgender thing, that adds a whole nother element that a lot of those veterans that I hear from are shaking their heads. And then we have this thing going on with North Korea where we're seeing, more troops deployed in that direction. And I don't think our military numbers are going to drop with the instability in the world today.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
Well, just to go back to your point about the transgenders, so, a lot of us kind of feel the same on that issue. It's listed as a mental health condition, just like, being flat-footed or colorblind is, barring you from enlistment. And that's kind of the stance I take with it. I mean, I believe everyone's free to do what they want as long as it doesn't harm anybody. But again,
and when we're talking about a disability or something that would hinder you from service, we know that people start when they go into surgeries. If they're out of action for a year or longer, or taking medications that alter their thinking, that would and oftentimes would give you a discharge paper because you can't serve. And in these cases with the transgenders, they're accepting that condition. But at the same time, I'm thinking, okay, with affirmative action and all the different things that happen in the private world out here, we can't deploy that necessarily in the military because people with disabilities, yes, they can function in many different aspects of life. But are we going to enlist blind people now too?
Well, and, I completely agree with you on that. Take Chelsea, Bradley, whatever Manning it is, Eli Payton, I don't know. But take that person, for example.
You must not be an Eli Payton fan.
No, I'm a Seahawks fan. But anyway, back to Chelsea or Bradley, whatever he or she goes by. Now, my whole point is this. If you want to do that on your own dime and they allow you to, well, you serve great. More power to you. At the end of the day, that individual is still a traitor. I don't think it's the military or the taxpayer's job to pay for that operation. I mean, that's like me when I was in saying, hey, Uncle Sam, I want this tattoo. You go pay for it. That's, it's a bunch of what.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it, for sure. All right, let's kind of shift gears here. Let's talk about this upcoming fundraiser that you got going on Saturday, September 9th. Start time is 5:30. It'll be at Center Place Event Center there in Spokane Valley, ladies and gentlemen. Again, if you'd like to get some additional information and tickets, by all means, you got to log on to this webpage. Go to the Facebook page. You can do so by going to www.Gr8terveterans.com. I will spell that. It's GR8TER veterans.com. If you can't do the internet thing, pick up the telephone, dial 953-3515. Again, 953-3515. Get that info and definitely make it a point to grab some tickets for sure.
Now, hold on. Before you go into this, because we started out, with the inter-military bashing. You're from Army, and you're putting it together as an Army veteran, and your speaker, you're actually working together, and so we got to, let everybody know the branches do work together. The guy coming to speak is actually one of those what was Navy stand for again?
Oh no,
He's John's Army. Don't call him Navy.
John's Army.
He was a drill sergeant too, so I know someone that might be doing some push-ups at the event there.
Okay, so he's a drill sergeant.
Yeah.
So, but all veterans are invited. You don't have to serve
and
one
civilians, 18 and up.
Yeah, civilians. If you want to get a little drill sergeant action and hear what it's about, and this is a family-friendly event, but don't bring snowflakes, right?
More or less, yeah. I mean, if not, we'll bring de-icer. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely, yeah.
Okay, all right, because your speaker is pretty unapologetic.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, open up my cabinet a little bit more on that. I've been trying to play the PC game a little bit too much for my liking. It's making me uncomfortable, so I got permission from the board as well as some representatives to go ahead and take the handcuffs off and say what needs to be said. So I'm going to start doing that a lot more myself as well.
All right. So you're going to get it full bore, both barrels at this event.
Oh, you bet. Go. All right. Well, the event starts at 5:30, and kind of walk us through what's going to be happening.
So we're going to have a couple guest speakers. One of them will be Tim Ben, of course, Matt Shea. We're going to have Representative Jacqueline Maycumber there, a few other surprise guests, hopefully. John Burke, he'll put on a great speech, very law enforcement supportive. His wife, Laura, is a first responder down in Dallas, law enforcement. And then we're also going to have a band I'm very excited to have up. They've never played here, Hymn River Suite. Justin, the lead singer, he is, I want to say, Army or Marines, I forget. And then his sister, Amy, is married to an active duty sailor. And I don't know if you've listened to any of their stuff that I've posted, but it's a little bit, country, southern rock, rockabilly, kind of a little bit of gospel undertone to it. So
nice.
Pretty good music, so that'll be fun. We're hoping to see a lot of first responders, law enforcement, local elected officials, veterans from all branches, not just Army.
Yeah, you bet.
Well,
that sounds wonderful. And another thing that just kind of piqued my curiosity is the fact that John Burke's wife is a first responder in Dallas. Was she a first? Do you know if she was a first responder that went to that Black Lives Matter? The cops ended up getting assassinated, that kind of thing.
The Alderon Sterling event, I believe it was. I believe she was there. I know they've issued several statements, as well as Tommy Lahren, in regards to bringing that guy on and helping elect the next police chief. I don't think a convicted felon should have any part in law enforcement matters, but again, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, you bet. Well, I mean, it'd definitely be interesting to sit down and talk with John Burke's wife with regard to her experiences during that horrific event, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely, and she'll be there. She'll take pictures as well. You might have to pay her extra because only John's under contract. Hey, it's worth it. Let's do it.
Yeah, and I mean, all the proceeds are going to be benefiting Gr8ter veterans, and the evac center. Speaking of the evac center, what are some of the services and assistance that vets can get?
So what we're working on doing is putting together roughly a 55,000 square foot facility that's going to have service dog training, not just combat veterans, but MST, PTSD, TBI, seizures, kind of the whole shebang.
Oh yeah, and I'm telling you, that's an up and coming. That's becoming ever more popular. The use of therapy and service dogs for PTSD, TBI. Like I said, I mean those are known. What do you want to call it? Known treatments, if you will.
Well, studies
and services.
Yeah, there's studies out there showing. The dog is man's best friend. I mean, I guess, and you can include women, and apparently now we include people that don't identify as either. But, the animal can sense your agitation levels. And I can tell you, just because of my wife losing her grandmother this last week, that the dogs in our lives, and even the cat that is in the elderly facility, actually saw things coming and would be there, actually laying at the door of every person that ends up, losing their life. And so the animals really catch on to a lot of subtle hints that humans don't, and they become that, free psychologist. And studies show that, animals will, bring down tensions in the home and in the workplace.
Yeah, you bet. Okay, so we're talking about therapy and service dogs and the other things?
So we're also going to have a auditorium for, concerts, speaking engagements, hiring events, hopefully holiday festivities, as well as service offices. So like the VVA, the Legion, the VFW. That way vets can file their VA claims. Cafe, bistro, lounge, rec area. So we kind of want to do it all. It's like a VFW on steroids. There's nothing like it anywhere in the U.S. We've talked to Alan West about it. We've talked to other high-profile veterans about it nationwide. A lot of them are interested. It's just a matter of getting the dollars together and getting the ribbon cutting going. We're working with a great real estate agent that does commercial. His name's Greg Matthews. We're working with him. I believe he's with Barbieri, and I forgot the other part of the name. Yeah, but he's been helping us kind of look at buildings, kind of rough end what costs are going to be. So, we're doing what we can. Mike and Tim have both been very helpful in various degrees in the process. So
you bet.
We're hoping we can get it going in the next year. That's the goal, but as with anything, it depends how backlogged the paperwork side is.
Yeah, you bet. Well, we've got a couple minutes in today's broadcast left over here, Nick. A veteran comes into your organization and they're looking for assistance. What is the biggest issue with veterans right now that seems to be a repeat complaint?
Well, right now, my things I'm hearing is joblessness, translating military skills to actual employment skills, needing help with rent, various forms of assistance, certain landlords that are violating, housing laws, different things like that. And we don't do a lot of housing assistance due to the legalities of it.
Sure.
Service dog stuff, one plan we have going forward with that is I have an AKC Shepherd myself. So when we buy our house here, hopefully in the next year or two, I'm going to get a female breed, and out of every litter, I'm going to donate a fully registered dog to a veteran of my choosing. So
wow.
That's one
nice.
One additional thing I'm going to be doing. So.
Okay. Well, military service, I guess it can kind of boil down to the different eras that we veterans ended up serving. And my era was immediately after the fall of Saigon, late 70s, early 80s. Is when I ended up serving. And then, of course, you ended up serving the late 90s through early 2000s. Attitude and aptitude, totally different from my era versus your era. I know that nowadays, since my son just got out of the Navy as a Navy corpsman after having served 4 years, his particular era was a lot different from when my dad served back in the 50s and 60s, boy. And I tell you, military service has definitely evolved, for sure. Anyway, folks, we are at that time, waning seconds of today's show. We want to extend a huge thank you to Mr. Nick Richardson from the Gr8ter Veterans Organization here. Again, folks, if you'd like to log on and check them out as well as click on the old donate button or buy the ticket button, you can go to www.gr8terveterans.com. Again, I'll spell that, GR8TER veterans.com. If you can't do that internet thing, please, by all means, pick up that phone and dial them up at 953-3515. Again, 953-3515. Saturday, September 9th, Center Place Event Center out in Spokane Valley. Start time is 5:30. Everybody, you got to be there or be square for sure. Now, that being said, Mike and Tim are out of here today. We'll be back at you in your face again tomorrow.
Bye-bye.